Hello, it's Nicole Teacher, and today we are going to talk about something truly academic. Today we are talking about the essay. And as long as time has gone on, forever and ever, the essay has had the same. Okay, maybe not forever and ever, but as long as there have been written essays. We're talking about literary essays today, essays that are in writing. And in this case, we're talking about essays in English. To prove that the structure of essays has always had three main parts, I'm going to show you a video I made all the way back in 2011. Hello. Today we are going to talk about essay format. Usually, every essay needs an introduction, a body, and some type of conclusion. It doesn't matter what type of essay you are writing or how long your essay is. Usually, you need these three parts. Each part has a very specific purpose and should have a very specific feeling. When the reader reads your essay, they need to feel that introduction, the body, and the conclusion. The purpose of an introduction is to introduce something to the reader. You might be introducing an idea, a concept. You might be introducing information or yourself. Whatever you are introducing, make sure that it is very clear in the introduction. And of course, you always hear about the hook. Yes, you need to get your reader's attention. It does not have to be shocking, but it has to be interesting. The purpose of the conclusion is to make it feel like the essay is finished. You have to have that feeling. You should not just repeat the information. So many people teach this way and say, just repeat the same information in the conclusion. That's not the way. What you need to do is remind the reader of what you said. Use different words, but you can remind them. And let them know by your words that you are finished. There has to be a feeling like I'm done, but you never say, I'm done. And I really suggest that you avoid in conclusion. Everybody says that it's boring. We hope that our tips today have been helpful for writing an essay. Remember, these are just the basics. So, if you need help when you're writing your essay and you need specific advice, contact a writing tutor at Empire English. We are always happy to help. Good luck with your essay. Welcome back to the future. The only thing that has changed is my apartment and my hair. The essay has not changed. So why hasn't the essay changed in all these years? Because it works. Because it is effective. It does two things. It works on the reader's understanding and comprehension, and also the feelings. Did you notice I was using the word feelings in my video back then? Let's think of a movie. When you go into a movie and you sit down in that seat, you want to be interested in the movie. You want to be engaged. And the people who make that movie, they know that. They plan their movie accordingly to get you engaged and interested. Usually when you sit down in a seat, you feel right away, wow, I'm gonna like this movie. I want to keep watching. Or something like that. And then in the body, you gotta keep them in their seats. Just like the movie makers, they have to keep people in their seats, and so do you. Okay? You don't just start to get boring in the body paragraph and like, here's the information. I have been to movies where there was no conclusion. I mean, I loved the whole movie. I thought the movie was the best movie ever. And then nothing. Nothing. It was just over, and there was no true closure. And I decided in that moment that I hated the movie. I did not like the movie after all. The same thing could happen with your essay. You might have the reader there with you the whole time, and then suddenly, that's not good. Okay, so let's step away from the feelings. Okay, that's one important part, but the very, very important part of the structure and the organization is because you need the reader to understand. They have to understand the information you are presenting, the points you are making, and in order for your reader to comprehend your essay and your points, it has to be delivered to them in an organized way. We're talking about organization, so I will talk about something very important. Your essay has to have one main idea. Yes, one main idea. Don't forget about that main idea, and don't let your reader forget about that main idea. Everybody has this problem at some point. You lose track of what you're talking about, you lose focus. So the main idea of a paper is called the thesis. Let's say that the main idea of your paper is that recycling in the home is important. That's the main idea. It's not just recycling, that's too broad. You need to be a little more specific in your main idea usually. So let's say you're talking about the importance of recycling. That's your thesis, and everything in your paper has to come back to that. It all has to be related and support that main point. We have something called a thesis statement. A thesis statement is usually 1 or 2 sentences, and it works best if it is put in the introduction. Most teachers tell students to write their thesis as one long sentence that usually goes at the very end of the introduction, the last sentence. That's not a hard rule, but that works, just like the organization of an essay. It often works there. I am not going to get into teaching the thesis statement because it actually can be very complicated and very difficult, but it is the most important part of your essay. But all parts of your essay are important. Now let's look at your essay like a rainbow. You look at the rainbow and you're like, wow, that is beautiful, and that's a rainbow. I understand what it is, it's beautiful, I know what I'm looking at. And you can identify the different parts of the rainbow. But it's still a rainbow. You can look and you can say, oh, that's red, orange, yellow, blue. If you took that rainbow and you just threw all the colors together, paragraph is a different color of the rainbow. Let's think of it that way. Because you have your main idea, but then each paragraph must have its own point. Yes, that point supports that thesis statement. That point supports the whole essay. It has to. That's the job of the body paragraph. Each paragraph has to stick to its own point, and that will be the topic of the paragraph. Therefore, you need a topic sentence that usually goes right in the beginning of the paragraph, the very first sentence usually, and that makes it very clear to the reader what that paragraph will be about. Different points you can use. There are different ways you can present those points. You are the writer and you have to think about those. You have to try different ways. Don't be afraid to change the order, to change the information you're going to use. That's why we have rough drafts. And I don't want you to feel like you have wasted time because you went back and you decided to throw some stuff away and you didn't use it. That's okay. Please, please, please do not introduce new information in your conclusion. Many people do that, like, oh yeah, and by the way, this. No, that has to be taken and put into your body paragraphs. And don't start giving examples and a lot of details in the introduction. All of the information and details belongs in the body. So I could go on and on and on giving you essay tips and explaining the details of the structure and development, but the point of today's video is just those 3 parts. What are they? Introduction, body, conclusion. I'll see you in 10 years from now when the essay is still the same. Wow.